So Bob, what's going on here?
So, was this group called Texas Grandparents Raising Grandchildren. I first encountered them and discovered them doing my pro bono work because there is increasingly in our society, because of the stresses that are hitting it, whether it's drug abuse, other things going on, that there are a lot of older adults, grandparents that are raising grandchildren, or older aunts raising nieces and nephews because either through some recent tragedy, like maybe an illness took the parents away, maybe the parents are incarcerated, any number of issues. And so one of the conundrums that creates for people that people ought to be aware of if they're not already is that for many of these older adults that are second-time unplanned caregivers, many of them are on fixed incomes, right? Not pensions per se, but like Social Security and other things. And some of these kids, because of where the circumstances are coming out of, have some real traumas that they're dealing with, real sort of things going on in their life that makes growing up and maturing and figuring out who you are as a person harder. Mm-hmm. And obviously, if you're a 70-year-old grandmother raising your grandchild unexpectedly for any one of these reasons, that's not only a toll on you physically, emotionally, mentally, but it's also a burden financially. It's a burden socially, right? Because people take for granted that usually when you're younger and you have kids, there's also social networks. You have more peers that you're around. Your social networks tend to be bigger, right? Because you're young, right?
Right.
So there's a lot of things that are pressing on these parents, and Texas is not the only state that has one of these groups. But this group, under Mercedes Bristol's leadership, has created a community of support groups that not only bring these second-time parents together to share observations or share issues, but also gives them a place where they can interact with community resource providers to meet with and learn more about what they provide, and get connected to the issues that they need to get, not the issues, but also the solutions they need to get connected to. And so one of the things that was really important to me in being true to myself and who I believed I was as a candidate was to not only campaign to the voters directly, but to actually spend a lot of quality time with groups just like this. Because if you really want to know what people are going through in really finite, intimate detail, then you need to go to where they are, right? And so it goes without saying that the issues that these grandparents, these second-time parents are running into, they're very personal, very raw in many instances. And you're not going to get that from a stage where you're the center of attention. You have to go to where they're meeting and sharing it with people where they feel safe, talk to their facilitators within the groups and find out. And so this particular picture is where I visited, I forget which group it was, but it was a group that I visited with and just spent a lot of time talking to them individually and as a group.
I hear from teachers in the community all the time how many of their students, and these are primarily students who are in more difficult circumstances around town, how many of them are being raised by grandparents. I have teachers tell me that all the time.
Yeah.
And so when I saw this, it was like, wow, it really resonated with me.
But it's sort of emblematic, representative to me of a lot of the policy failures that got me to run in the first place, right? Because these are not unknown issues. You've seen them through your own networks. If you do some reflection, every one of us knows someone. And once you spend the time in thinking about and hearing kind of what they're going through, it's an indictment of our society that you have an 80-year-old second-time parent raising a preteen with mental health issues on a fixed income without a lifeline, right?